Claim Social Security at the wrong age, and you could leave 60, 70, even $100,000 on the table over your lifetime. And here's the part that stings. Most people pick their age on a feeling, not on the math. I'm Ray. Folks call me Uncle Ray. I spent my whole career as an accountant, and now I'm retired myself. So, let me walk you through this the simple way. 62, 67, or 70. Which one is right for you? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to decide. I'm going to show you 3 things. First, what actually happens to your check at each age in plain dollars. Second, the 4 questions that decide the right age for your situation. And third, stay with me to the end. The one factor that almost everybody forgets, and it has nothing to do with how long you'll live. One quick note before we start. I'm a retired accountant explaining the public rules in plain English. This is education, not financial advice. For your own numbers, sit down with your own CPA. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with the machine itself, because once you see it, everything else makes sense. Your full retirement age, the age where you get 100% of your benefit, is 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later. That 67 is your baseline. Now, watch what happens when you move away from it. Claim at 62, the earliest you can, and your check is cut by about 30% for the rest of your life, not for a few years permanently. So a $2,000 benefit at 67 becomes roughly $1,400 at 62. Now, go the other way. Wait past 67 and your benefit grows by about 8% for every year you delay all the way to 70. And there's no reason to wait past 70. The increases simply stop. Let me put that a different way. Think of your Social Security like a bottle of wine. Open it at 62 and you can drink right away, but the flavor's plain. Leave it in the cellar, and every year it gets about 8% finer. At 70, you're pulling the cork on the best bottle you'll ever have. In dollars, that same $2,000 benefit grows to about $2,480 at 70. Put the two ends together, and the gap is enormous. Claiming at 70 gives you roughly 77% more every single month than claiming at 62, 77% for life. So here's the trade. The early check is smaller, but you collect it longer. The later check is bigger, but you collect it for fewer years. Which one wins? That's the whole question. And the answer depends on you. So let's go through the 4 things that decide it. Factor number 1, the one nobody likes to talk about, your health and your family history. There's a break-even point. Filing at 62 versus waiting to 70 usually doesn't pay off until around age 79 to 82. Here's an easier way to see it. Picture you and your neighbor. You claim early, so you get a head start. You're collecting checks while your neighbor is still waiting. But your neighbor's check is bigger, and around age 80, he catches up to you and then passes you. So, if you'll comfortably live past 80, waiting was the better bet. If you won't, claiming early was. Factor number 2, do you actually need the income today? If you've stopped working and you'd otherwise be draining your savings just to pay the bills, turning on Social Security early can protect your nest egg, but here's a trap if you're still working. Before your full retirement age, there's an earnings test. In plain terms, if you're 62, still on the job, and earning a good paycheck, the government basically says, you don't need it all yet, and quietly holds back part of your Social Security for now. So claiming early while you're still working can actually backfire. Real quick. If this is helping, do me one favor and hit subscribe. It tells YouTube to show this to another retiree who needs it. And drop your age in the comments. I read everyone. Factor number 3, for married couples, maybe the most important one, the survivor benefit. While you're both alive, both checks come in. But when one of you passes, the one left behind keeps only the bigger of the two. The smaller check simply stops. So if you're the higher earner, waiting isn't just growing your own check. You're leaving your husband or wife a bigger cushion for the rest of their life. And now, factor number 4. The one almost everybody forgets. And this is the one Uncle Ray really wants you to hear, so stay with me. It's not how long you'll live, it's taxes. Here's the thing people don't realize. Your Social Security can be taxed up to 85% of it. And whether it gets taxed doesn't depend on how big your check is. It depends on your other income. Don't let the wording scare you. The idea is simple. The government isn't really looking at your Social Security check. It's looking at everything else you bring in. If you have little other income, almost none of your Social Security gets taxed. But if you're pulling a lot out of your retirement accounts, then a chunk of your Social Security becomes taxable too. Here's a picture for it. Think of a bucket. When only Social Security is flowing in, the water sits low. No tax. Start pouring in withdrawals from your IRA and the water rises until it spills over the edge. And now part of your Social Security is wet with tax too. Pour in less during those early years and the bucket doesn't overflow. That's why when you claim matters, same benefit, a very different tax bill. Let me make all of this real with an example. Meet Frank and Carol. This is just a hypothetical to show the idea. Frank is the higher earner. His benefit would be about $3,000 a month at 67. Carol's own benefit is smaller, about $1,200 a month. The feels safe move is for both of them to claim right now. But watch the smarter version. Carol claims first. That brings roughly $1,200 a month into the household, so they pull less from their IRA, which, remember the bucket, keeps their taxable income lower. That buys Frank time. Frank delays all the way to 70, growing his check to over $3,700 a month. So look at what they pulled off with just the order. Money's still coming in the door because Carol claimed. Their tax bucket stays low, and Frank's check keeps growing in the cellar, like that fine wine. 3 wins from 1 decision. And here's the quiet magic. Frank's bigger delayed check also becomes Carol's survivor benefit if he passes first. Again, this is illustrative, not a recommendation for your exact numbers. So let's bring it together. There is no single right age. There are 4 questions. 1. How's your health and your family history? 2. Do you need the income today, and are you still working? 3. Are you the higher earner in a marriage? And 4. What does claiming do to your taxes? Remember the bucket? Answer those 4 honestly. And the right age, 62, 67, or 78, usually becomes obvious. Now, I want to hear from you. What retirement tax question keeps you up at night? Drop it in the comments below. The best ones become my next video. If this helped, subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you're married and getting close to this decision, send this video to your spouse. This is one you really should watch together, because here's what changes everything I just showed you. How your Social Security actually gets taxed once it's turned on, and the tax torpedo that catches good people who did everything right. That's the video to watch next. This is Uncle Ray. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.